Hi, everyone. I'm Susan Harrow, media coach, marketing strategist, author of Sell Yourself Without Selling Your Soul, published by HarperCollins, and CEO of PRSecrets.com. And today I'm going to be talking about the script for closing clients, which has a 90% success rate. So I'm going to go through the actual script, and you can download it yourself, the entire script, word for word, and the links over here to the right. I also have the links over here to the right for referral business template, and also the template for the client attraction blueprint, and also the upcoming webinar, how to get tons of referrals. So those are all free, and all of the links are over there to the right. And I will read them out loud a little. Actually, I'll read them out loud now, but I want to get into my explanation of this first. So this is a script for getting. I'm going to be looking over at my notes over here. This is the script for closing clients. And the reason why I'm talking about this today, and this is based, this is Charla Jacobs and Jesse Corin's formula. It is not mine. But the reason why I think this is so important is because so many people go out and run and do publicity, and then they get actually people in the door, and they don't they don't know how to close them, either on their website or on the phone. So it's super important when you use publicity or whenever anybody refers you to a client that you have the capacity to find out if they're a good match. And that's really what you're doing. When I say closing clients, what you're doing is finding out if they're a good match and if they're a good match for both of you. So I really want to emphasize that, because sometimes, you think, oh my God, the client looks so great, but they're not a good client for you, for your temperament, for your rhythm, for your style, for whatever personality. So I think that you are, and this is an attitude maybe shift for, but you're not begging, oh, please become my client. What you're doing is you're asking questions to determine whether you're both a good fit and whether you can really help that person. I pretty much get that sense like instantly from a person, like, can I really work with this person? And then the clarifying questions are really just to make sure that that is really true for both of you, so the close comes naturally. So I'm going to go through this step by step, and I gave you those links to the three free blueprints, which are 3 PDF downloads, plus a link to the free webinar, so you can start using any of these things ASAP. So the referral getting webinar, the referral getting template or formula is what you can send to your friends and your clients too, your friends, your family, your colleagues, and your clients, so they can refer business to you. And then we're talking about the template of what to do when they do get to you. So you can relax and listen. Oh, by the way, so all of these things, though, are only good, these downloads are only good until February 9th. And that's on Charla and Jesse's website. So it doesn't have anything to do with me. So after February 9th, they go away. So here's what we're going to talk about. And I'm going to also talk about sometimes the story similarities for closing a client and the stories that you tell on radio, TV, and print. Or even in a blog post for that matter. So you have a sense of what works in both cases, because there's a lot of similarities. So these 3 blueprints are from Charlotte Jacobs and Jesse Corin, and they've used them, by the way, for over 25,000 people who are their clients to get 6- and 7-figure businesses. And they call this the 90% Yes Consultation Formula. I probably should have put that in the title, but the 90% Yes Consultation Formula. So this works 90% of the time. And I think really the other 10% of the time is people just aren't right for you. So if you're doing publicity right now, you're inspiring the radio, TV, podcast, print, or blog audience to your website, to go to your website or to your phones. And then what happens next determines if you can continue to engage them and then turn them into a client or a raving fan, whatever that is. So the problem is that many entrepreneurs, authors, coaches, speakers, and consultants just improvise, and then they lose the potential client. So that's why I'm going to give you this actual script, so you don't need to improvise. I'm just going to take a sip of water. the improvising comes, there is an improvising portion, and that's where you're asking certain questions based on the response. And that's where your skill comes in. So I want to give you a case in point, because I had a client who was a cosmetic surgeon, and she'd hired me to media train her and get her system set up for an online course. She wanted to do more local publicity, but she said the publicity that she had been doing was not working well for her. And I asked her why, and she said, and she just wanted to do more of it. And I said, well, how many calls are you getting? And she said, we're getting like 20 calls a week, and they weren't closing any business. So the problem was not publicity. The problem was with her and her staff answering those questions adequately and in such a way that would make people want to do business with them. So I started looking at, what do you actually say? And is there a system to that? And the back end of that is that, we standardized answers to people's frequently asked questions. So you'll want to do that for your business. Like, what are the typical questions that people are going to ask you, that are the objections, that are the things that are going to hold them back? Obviously one is always cost, right? People are always going to ask about that. Not always, but oftentimes that's a particularly big one, right? But there are going to be questions that are particular to your particular industry and you and your business. So I discovered with her that she didn't have those questions, and she didn't have success stories lined up in order to be able to tell them to those clients, and also to allay people's fears. Because when people are getting cosmetic surgery, it's pretty scary, right? And you want to know, does it hurt? What's going to happen? All of these kinds of things. You want to think about all of those things in advance. So you want to have your own FAQ, frequently asked questions, of people that are going to ask you about whatever your business, book, product, service, or cause is. I discovered that she did have some good testimonials, and she did have some good before and after pictures, which in her industry are really fantastic. And of course, in your industry too, a before and after doesn't need to be a picture, but a before, what happened before you work with somebody, and then after, or before they used your product and after, is a really great way to think about and to have prepared for you. So she was, so typically when people say that publicity doesn't work, it means one of two things. They don't know what to say during a media appearance to incite their audience to buy, or they don't know how to close the sale on the website or the phone. So both of these elements really need to be in place in order to make a publicity campaign a success. So I started working with her on developing answers to those most common questions when they called. So we had that bank of answers for people. So no matter who picked up the phone in her office, they would have those answers ready for people, and they could do it fluently, so it sounded natural, not like they were like those robotons that you get, in customer service. So you want to do the same, and you want to be prepared, of course, for the objection, this is too expensive. And by the way, this is something that Charlotte is going to cover on the free webinar masterclass, the bit.ly/refer biz now, REFERBIZNOW. So Jimenez wants to come in, I think. A future gamer. I don't even know what that means. I am going to start getting to the template right now, but I will let you in. Whoops. Oh, whoops. I think I just accidentally popped you out. So if you want to come back in, do whatever it is you need to do to ask again, because I think I accidentally rolled my mouse over something. Okay, so I'm going to go to the template now. Give me just a second. That up. Okay, there. I'm going to make sure I can still see you all. Okay, good. So number one, this is the 90% Yes Consultation Formula in the script to closing clients. So number one, what you're going to ask is, you're going to say to someone, I'm looking forward to supporting you in the next 30 minutes. That's a good amount of time to qualify somebody. And you want to ask them if this is still a good time. Now, this is super basic, but it's really great because you want to make sure that they're 100% with you. And then you ask them this question: what are you hoping to get from this session today? Because you want to hear what it is they want from you so you can satisfy that. And by the way, this I posted all of the links where you can actually get this entire script for you, not in the detail that I'm going to go over it with, but you've got the structure of it. And this one is the bit.ly, bit.ly/client script, all one word. So you can get that free. All of these things are free from Charlotte and Jesse. So I'm going to give you an example of this from somebody who just called me the other day. They had seen a testimonial on my website and had seen what I had done for Dr. Sarah Gottfried, who's the New York Times bestselling author of The Hormone Cure and the Hormone Reset Diet. I had worked with Sarah for over 9 months and created everything from webinars to getting her joint ventures to creating special reports and funnels for her. And this was all in preparation to make her book a New York Times bestseller. So we were preparing everything behind the scenes. She also was making the transition from, since she's a Harvard-educated doctor, physician, integrative physician, she was making the transition out of having patients into people having online courses and group courses. And this woman wanted to do the same thing. So what she told me is, I want you to do for me what you did for Sarah. I need funnels. I need special reports. I want to be media trained so I can start to get media in my local market and my national market so I can transition out of having direct clients. So she told me that. So you want to get your client to tell you what is it that they want. And I was able then to tell her, you know, when she said, oh, I saw that you work with Sarah Gottfried, what did you do for her exactly? I was able to tell her that right in that moment. Well, this is what you're asking me to do for you is what I did for her. So I'm telling her that I've already done that. So that's one of your examples of a success story. And then to tell the result. So she is a New York Times bestselling author. And for her joint venture, we got 1 million people. Her emails reached 1 million people with all of the joint venture people that participated in getting the word out about her books and courses. So she's like, well, that's something that I want. Okay, so we already established that. Then the next thing you say sounds good. And I promise that you'll walk away with some strategies to do the following. So you reiterate what they want. And that's something that you're going to tell them today. So they get value out of your consult. So you're not just going to be listening to see if they're the right client for you, but you're going to be listening to say, what can you tell them today that's going to be of use to them that they can take away, whether they work with you or not. So that's something you lodge in your head. And then you would say, I'd like to understand more about you and the challenge. So this particular person who wanted to work with me, her challenge was that she didn't have a course yet set up and she didn't have a funnel. She had a special report, but I saw what the special report was and it was too generic. It was too general and she needed a more specific special report. So I let her know that. I said, and here was my first tip to her was a special report needs to have 2 things. It needs to have a super solid outcome and a time frame. So for example, you might say if we were talking about for this one, how to get 3 new clients in 3 days. So quantitative, something because special reports have to be super quick. So that was one of the first tips that I gave her. I said, your special report is too general and it needs to be super specific in these 2 ways. So that's something that you wouldn't tell her necessarily right then because there's another place in the template to tell her. So then you would say, I have a few questions for you. I want to know more about what you're looking for, and I'll make some suggestions. I'll make some recommendations to help you get whatever it is they said they wanted to get. And then finally, if it sounds like it might be a good match, we'll talk about the possibility of working together more deeply. How does that sound? So you want to get that kind of play with them to make sure that you're both on the same page, and that's something that they want. So number 2 is find out what they're looking for. So that's when you're asking them, I want to know more about you and what you're looking for. And so that's when you get them to expand on that. Um, so then you would ask them, what are their biggest challenges when it comes to whatever it is that the problem that you're going to solve? And what have you tried to do to resolve their specific challenge? So you want to know where they are in the process. So you want to know how you can help them. Then you want to ask them, how did it work? Right? What is not resolving? The next question is, what is not resolving the challenge costing you? And how much longer are you willing to deal with this? And, stay with that pain. And then what do you want instead? So, one thing that I wanted to tell you is Charlotte and Jessie recommend that you tell what she calls your hero story really early on. And she'll go over that in the webinar and actually in the script, which is bit.ly/client script. And on her webinar, it's bit.ly/refer biz now. So she's going to talk more about how to set up the hero's journey, which is your story. So I'm not going to talk about that because that's something that she goes into depth with. And then the last thing that you can get is the blueprint, the client attracting blueprint. It's a step-to-step guide to attracting clients. And that is bit.ly blueprints, BLUEPRINTZ. So all of those are free to you. Charlotte goes into really great detail. I'm just giving you a quick overview. And what I recommend is when you're talking about these challenges and that the person has, is to actually show them that you're the right person to help. And these are the kinds of stories that are success stories that show that you're addressing those same kind of challenges and problems that they have. So that's something that you want to consider. So for example, one of my course participants who was in the soundbite course, she said when she first started the course, she felt super intimidated that there were famous people in here, big authors, people who seemed like that they were much more successful and much further along in their business than she was. And she felt very intimidated. But she made it her business to come to every single Q&A call that we had and to really study up on the soundbite course. And she had two goals. One was to start her own business, and the other was to get a job. She wanted to do both at the same time, and she wanted her dream job. And then she wanted to start consulting clients on the side. So what happened was, during the course, she did get her dream job, and she got her first consulting client. And she said at the end of the course, she felt worthy and wanted and had the kind of confidence that she didn't. And oh, by the way, that interview process to get her dream job was really intimidating because it was via the web, it was via phone, and it was and in person. So 3 ways, so very intimidating. But she felt confident at the end, and she got what she wanted, her dream job and her first consulting client. And she shifted internally to feeling unworthy, to feeling confident, and to feeling like she fit in, right? So this example gives both a transformation and a measurable result. In your examples, you can do one or the other. You don't have to have them both combined. And this is also a structure that works really well on a media appearance. And it might be super short for a media appearance. It might be something like 2 lines. A client came to me, she felt unworthy, but she really worked hard, and her goal was to get a dream client, a dream job and her client, and at the end she got it, and she felt confident and worthy. So it might have been that short for the media, right? Not everything else in between. So an example for you, that's a really good example on how you would talk to a client, because some clients want the inner transformation, others want the hard measurable result. So we could even have spoken in numbers, like how much was that job worth? Hundreds of thousands of dollars, right? The two of them combined. So if your client is particularly concerned with money, we would talk about the money aspect of it. So let's move on to the next step, So then you would ask, so that's where you would put in your story of transformation or measurable result. And you'll determine when that's appropriate. So the next step would be, what would your life be like if you were able to get, and that's the solution that you're offering. On a scale of 1 to 10, how committed are you to getting the solution to the offer? So you want to measure where they are on that scale, right? Before you take it to the next step. And then the last stage is number 3, which is to share a resource. Can I make some recommendations as to how to get what they said they wanted from your session? And then you make those 3 recommendations. So they come away from that call with something super valuable. And then stage 4 is to see if you're a match. So you would ask them, how does this sound to you? If we were to work together, what would you see yourself getting? That's where you can see them projecting into their future self, where they are now and what are they wanting in the future. And then stage 5 is to ask for the next step. Do you have any questions? Do you have any concerns? Ask about concerns too. And number 6 is dance with the concerns. Are there any concerns that would stop you from moving forward? So there you're going to get all the objections that you'll need to answer. And that is the end of that. So if you have any questions, pop them in over here. And if not, I am going to wrap up and just read to you really quickly the things that you can get from Charlotte and Jesse, which is the referral formula for friends, family, colleagues, and also your clients, so they can send you clients. And that's bit.ly referbiz, REFERBIZ, all one word. And I shortened them to bit.ly, so it's super easy for you. The second one is the script for closing clients, which is just what I've gone over with you, so you can have that all written out in a PDF. bit.ly/client script, CLIENTSCRIPT. The client attraction blueprint, which is bit.ly/blue, PRINTZ. And the last one is upcoming. This one is not available yet, but it will be soon. At least today, it'll be available in a couple of days. This is the free webinar, which is bit.ly refer biz, B-I-Z, now, REFERBIZNOW. And that is called How to Get Tons of, how to get tons of client referrals. How to get tons of referrals. So all of these are good just until February 9th. And then Charlotte and Jesse will take them down. So if you don't have any questions, which I don't see, I'm going to end this. And I look forward to hearing from how the script works for you. I hope it works really fantastic. And that you have all of these resources so you can fill your funnel with the referral business. You can close the clients, and then you have a blueprint for continuing to attract clients. And then Charla will tell you all about the details and answer all of your questions on the webinar. So bring all of those questions. She'll stay on. Last year, I know she stayed on as long as people had questions. And she and Jesse are really masters at this. They know how to close clients on the phone, from the stage, everywhere, and do it the reason why I love them so much is because they do it in a natural and conversational way. So it never sounds like you're reading from a script, because it becomes a very natural conversation. And the other thing that I love about this is they work specifically with conscious business entrepreneurs. So it's people who really speak from the heart. And that's really wonderful. And again, what I said in the beginning was, what you're really trying to do is to see if you're a good match, the two of you, or however many they are. See if you're a good match. Do you connect? Is there, is there energy between you that you could create something really great together? That's ultimately what this is. And so it becomes a natural and free-flowing conversation. Everything. And I love their system because it's got everything from the beginning to the end, how to fill your funnel with those in a nice and easy way from people who love you already and know you, and then they give you those referrals to clients, and then it's up to you to close them, and obviously then to deliver your great work to them. So thank you so much for listening. I'm going to be doing some more blabs, maybe not today, but very soon. So I will look forward to talking to you soon. Bye-bye.